They called him entitled, arrogant, not good enough. Anonymous NFL coaches destroyed him days before the draft, saying his interview was the worst they'd ever seen in their lives. Shedeur Sanders, son of a legend, heir to primetime's throne, fell from projected top 10 pick to the 5th round, pick 144. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Some people think the entire NFL colluded to make sure he'd fail. And now, after just 2 games, he's already the most hated quarterback in football history. So what the hell is really going on with Shedeur Sanders? And why does it feel like the entire league wants him to crash and burn?
Shedeur Sanders, who some are saying is getting hated on. The latest level of hate comes from, you know this, patting the ball. So you see a quarterback, and then they do this, and then they throw it, yes. And then they say, "Oh, you triggering," and you're going to let the defensive back.
It's a tail.
It's a tail. And we're going to go to U-Hatch first. So let me set it up. All of a sudden, Shedeur Sanders, his pro day is getting criticized because of all this patting the ball. And Darius Slayton's out there. There's Micah Parsons.
Look, I'm going to be real with you from the jump. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie quarterback trying to make it in the NFL. This dude has been under a microscope since he was born, and I'm not even exaggerating. When your pops is Deion Primetime Sanders, Hall of Famer, one of the flashiest players to ever do it, you don't get the luxury of flying under the radar. But what's happening to Shedeur right now? It's beyond anything we've seen in recent memory. Let me take you back to April 2025, draft night. Shedeur was supposed to go early, man. Mock drafts had him top 10, maybe even top 5. His dad predicted he'd be one of the first 5 picks. Dude led all of college football with an 84.2% adjusted completion rate in 2024. He threw for over 3,200 yards and 28 touchdowns at Colorado. The numbers screamed first-round talent. But then, something wild happened. Days before the draft, NFL Network's Tom Pelissero dropped a bombshell report. An anonymous longtime NFL assistant coach absolutely torched Shedeur, saying, quote, "The worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is, he's not that good." Hold up. Let that sink in for a
Cleveland,
second.
perhaps
An
the
NFL
worst run
coach, who
franchise
stayed anonymous,
in
of course,
all of professional
went on record to
football,
destroy a kid's character right
has
before the
all the
biggest moment of his
spotlight
life.
on it because
Another
of the
AFC
fifth-round
executive
quarterback,
piled on,
the
saying the
pick they
interview
took
didn't
at
go great,
144.
and that Shedeur wants to dictate what he's going to do
Shedeur
and what's best for him.
and
He makes you feel
well-off
small.
media and what Deion has created, the myth of Shedeur Sanders, is overshadowing every other storyline in the National Football League.
But here's where it gets even crazier. Draft day came and Shedeur kept falling. First round? Nope. Second round? Not even close. Third round? Still waiting. And the whole time you could feel the tension building. Social media was going nuts. People were confused. How does a quarterback with those numbers, that pedigree, fall this far? He finally got picked in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns. Pick 144. Let that sink in. 5 quarterbacks were selected before him, guys with similar or even lesser stats. And when the Browns announced the pick, the reaction from GM Andrew Berry and head coach Kevin Stefanski was lukewarm at best. Fans noticed immediately. They looked thrilled. Did someone force their hand? One user wrote. People started wondering if Cleveland even wanted him. But here's where this story takes a turn into conspiracy territory that you are not going to believe. Former NFL Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson went on AM 570 LA Sports and dropped an absolute bomb. He said, and I quote, "What I heard from someone that's in the NFL is that the NFL told teams, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're going to make an example out of him." Dickerson claims someone called the Browns and told them to draft Shedeur, implying they were forced into it. Now, is this real? Is it verifiable? Hell no, but it added fuel to a fire that was already raging. Former NFL linebacker Emmanuel Acho took it even further. On his show Speakeasy, Acho declared that Shedeur Sanders is the public sports face of oppression and that the NFL is colluding against him. The white man is trying to hold him down. Acho compared Shedeur's situation to Sha'Carri Richardson and Angel Reese, black athletes who faced what many perceived as unfair treatment and scrutiny. ESPN's Kendrick Perkins went full hype mode, comparing Shedeur to Barack Obama and calling him the most powerful black man in sports since 2009. Perkins said, he's bringing the whole black community together. I ain't ran across one black person that done said one bad thing about Shedeur. He has the balance of arrogant but humble. The hashtag Shedeur Obama trended with over 300,000 engagements.
Football has all the spotlight on it because of the fifth-round quarterback, the pick they took at 144.
So what's the truth? Was this racism? Was it the NFL punishing Deion's son for his father's swagger back in the day? Or was Shedeur genuinely perceived as arrogant and entitled by decision makers who didn't want to deal with the drama? Here's what we know for sure. Academics who study sports and race weighed in. Professor Cheryl Cookie from Purdue pointed out that black quarterbacks who violate norms get policed more heavily. She said, for a black quarterback to be acting in ways that sort of violate norms and expectations gets policed even more so than if this was a black player in another position or a white quarterback. Sociologist Jay Coakley suggested that fans with racist tendencies might view Shedeur as a typical flashy black athlete and reject him for that reason alone. But hold on, let's not ignore what happened when Shedeur actually got on the field. His first NFL action came in Week 11 against the Ravens. Dylan Gabriel got hurt, and Shedeur had to come in cold. No first-team reps. He went 4 of 16 for 47 yards, 1 interception, and had a passer rating of 13.5. It was brutal. One of the worst quarterback debuts in decades. The lowest completion rate in a debut since 1984. Former NFL coach Rex Ryan torched him on ESPN's Get Up, saying Shedeur needed to quit being an embarrassment and get your ass in the front row and study. Ryan criticized his body language after the game, saying he was sitting alone on the bench instead of engaging with teammates. This kid talks and he runs his mouth, Ryan said. But hold on. Let's not ignore what happened when Shedeur actually got on the field. He came back the next week and made history. Week 12 against the Raiders, he became the first Browns rookie quarterback to win his first start since 1995. He went 11 of 20 for 209 yards and a touchdown. Not spectacular, but a win's a win. And that's when the real controversy started. In his post-game interview, Shedeur was hyped. He said, "It's amazing, off of 1 week of practice. This is 1 week of practice, so imagine what a full offseason would look like. It gets dangerous. A lot of people want to see me fail.
No,
it ain't going to happen."
And Steve, you
Sports commentator John Root blasted
I
him,
don't think
posting,
it's what fans
"This is one
want.
reason why many people aren't very interested in rooting for Shedeur.
We
this isn't
on social
confidence.
media
It's
that
arrogance.
make a living on social media.
He talks like his dad without having the resume and skill set to back it up. Humility would go a long way.
Doing what's in their
the post
best,
went viral.
Best business.
Shedeur's brother, Deion Sanders Jr., clapped back with, "Y'all boys are funny as hell."
I don't think it's a true reflection.
But check this out, and this is the part that really makes you wonder what's going on. Kevin Stefanski didn't give Shedeur a game ball after his historic win. Shannon Sharpe and Chad Johnson called it out publicly. Fans started accusing Stefanski of sabotaging Shedeur. During a press conference, a reporter straight up asked Shedeur, "All your supporters out there say that Kevin Stefanski was sabotaging you." Shedeur shut it down immediately. "So you just want to start trouble, huh?" But the optics were terrible. Stefanski gave the game ball to Myles Garrett, which, fair, Garrett had 3 sacks. But when you're the first rookie QB to win his first start in 30 years, and you don't even get acknowledged in the locker room speech beyond a brief mention, that's going to raise eyebrows. Terrell Owens jumped in, calling it blatant disrespect. Des Bryant backed Shedeur too, saying critics are only loud because not many black QBs were raised like him.
But there's a level
Bryant pointed
of
out that if
criticism
Shedeur was raised
and
with
hate
confidence
that goes
by
Shedeur
2 parents who
Sanders' way.
walk with
So I'm
swagger,
at first,
why should he be
is the
penalized for
criticism
that?
real? Helpful?
Former NFL
Or is
scout
it
Bucky
real
Brooks
just
defended
pure
Shedeur's
hate?
talent, calling him the most prepared franchise quarterback prospect in the history of the NFL draft because he's been under bright lights his entire life.
First of all, that's your
Brooks
blanket
praised
ass
his
answer.
throw them
I'm just,
open ability and said his precision was reminiscent of Greg Maddux. But that didn't stop the hate train.
But here's what I find fascinating. When Cam Ward, who is also black, went first overall to the Titans, nobody talked about code switching. Nobody questioned his interviews. Ward was drafted by a white GM and white head coach. So what's the difference? Why does Shedeur get labeled as arrogant while other confident quarterbacks get called leaders? Let's be honest for a second. Shedeur isn't perfect. His debut against Baltimore was rough. He's had moments where his confidence might come off as cocky to people who don't know him. But is he really the most hated quarterback in NFL history? Or is he just the most scrutinized? Think about it. Russell Wilson got cooked when he went to Denver, but people didn't hate him, they clowned him. Baker Mayfield had his ups and downs, but the hate never reached this level. Tim Tebow was polarizing, sure, but it was more about his play style than his character. With Shedeur, it feels personal. It feels like people want him to fail, and I think that's what bothers his supporters so much. Emmanuel Acho compared Shedeur's situation to Colin Kaepernick, saying if your talent does not match your distraction, they will not make room for you. That's a wild statement, but it makes you think. Is Shedeur talented enough to overcome all this noise, or will the distractions bury him before he gets a real shot? Now, before we wrap this up, let me be clear about something. I'm not here to tell you Shedeur is a victim or a villain. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. What I am saying is that the level of hate this dude gets is unprecedented for a 5th-round rookie who's played 2 games. Whether you think it's justified or not, you can't deny it's weird as hell.
So here's what I want you to think about. Is Shedeur Sanders really the most hated quarterback in NFL history? Or is he just a confident young black man who refuses to dim his light for people who are uncomfortable with his shine? Did the NFL actually collude against him? Or did he just rub some old school coaches the wrong way? Is Kevin Stefanski sabotaging him, or are fans reading too much into locker room speeches and game balls? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you Team Shedeur or Team Critics? And if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this story is far from over. Week 13 is about to tell us a lot. Let's see if the kid can really back it up.